I think it very much has changed in terms of government relations for foreign companies. We talk about it in two different ways. In the old days, I guess, government affairs was for the purpose of market access. You got to know the government and you got to know regulators because that's how you got your approvals. You got licenses approved. You had your company signed off on, things like that. It was all about approvals. And so it was a lot of MOFCOM interaction. It was a lot of, sometimes you had an industry regulator of some kind, but you were getting approval for the purpose of getting access to a market. Today you still need to do that, but you also need to have good relationships at the regulator side because these regulations are being enforced right now. So you really have to have good relationship, what we call on the risk management side. So you need the market access, but you also need the risk management. So the government agencies that are most likely to enforce the rules and the policies and everything, do you know them? Do you know the enforcement side of that? And very often the enforcement side and the market access side are two different sides. And you need to make sure that you understand that you know both of them. And you need to know both of them before you have an issue, before they're trying to enforce a regulation on you. That's really hard to say. It's hard to say because we don't know all of the companies that are being looked at. You don't know the total number, so what percentage are foreign companies of that? You really don't know. I'd say the reticence to investigate and enforce a foreign company is gone. In the past, you were sometimes given a free pass, or they didn't look at you as much because they didn't want to create an incident, they didn't want to create a media incident or something. Now they're kind of equal opportunity enforcers, and they're going after anyone who's doing business here in China. It would be wrong to say that foreign companies are being picked on, I think. We can't quite say that. But what we can say very often is that foreign companies are certainly more vulnerable if they do get investigated. And that's what we're encouraging foreign companies to do, is to really be better prepared. Unfortunately, foreign companies right now are probably operating under a version 1.0 stakeholder map. They're operating under the old market access map, and the people that they needed to know and everything, they've kind of limited it to that. The parts of that map are probably still valid, so you don't throw the whole thing out, but you need to come at it and pretend like you don't know anything, and pretend like you're coming at it fresh, and find out, who are those market access people you need to know, but who are the regulators that are enforcing the regulations in your industry? There will be some general ones, there'll be the State Administration for Market Regulation, there'll be these types of things. Then there'll be your industry specific ones, if you're in the healthcare sector, if you're in food safety or something. And so you need to build that map from scratch, and then to be very purposeful about it, say, okay, who do we need to get to know? And it's not just people, just what's the remit of this regulator here? What are they doing? What's their purpose? Why are they there? We have this weird view of government affairs that any kind of proactive government affairs requires some dodgy behavior. That everybody's always waiting with their hands out, and wanting a bribe or something like that. Nothing could be further from the truth. What we found, and even in my own industry, in doing government affairs for my own company, the regulator side truly does want to understand what your business is about. They truly are interested in regulating their sector. They've got pressures themselves. They want to understand what your business is about. And so if you can help them understand what your challenges are, but then you understand what their challenges are as well by regulating it. Developing an honest, two-way relationship like that is critically important. Companies need to understand that regulatory issues are both legal and political in China, and admittedly so. I mean, Xi Jinping has said the party is over everything. So it is political at a certain point. It doesn't make it bad, or that doesn't make it wrong, certainly, but it means that companies need to understand the political motivations as well. And too often, if they face a regulatory investigation or a regulatory inquiry of any kind, the first thing they do is bring in their lawyers. When lawyers are good, you need good lawyers who really understand that. But there's a political element you need to understand as well. So you need to understand if they're enforcing a certain regulation, why are they doing that? what's the greater whole that this is part of? Assume they're not just picking on you, they really are trying to do something. So how does your situation fit in with what they're trying to do a little bit more broadly? And then how can you help them reach some of their broader goals? First of all, that starts with the stakeholder map. The stakeholder map is both national and local. And local can be provincial, it can be citywide, it can be in your own neighborhood like that. And the point is to really be exhaustive in that. It can be overwhelming because you think, oh gosh, all these people, we need to put them down. Get them on that map and make sure that you understand where those people are and really why they're on that map. What are they trying to enforce? What is it about my business that fits in with where China is going in their regulatory environment? And then it becomes an issue of keeping them both spinning, I guess. We call it a game of three-dimensional chess. You need to get checkmate horizontally, and you checkmate vertically as well. So you need to make sure that you maintain these kind of relationships across the entire board. Sometimes they can be very helpful with each other. Your local people can help you up with Beijing. Beijing doesn't always help you with the local side, because the local guys don't always, someone comes from Beijing and tries to tell them what to do, they don't like to hear that. And so you have to be very careful to not try to leverage Beijing contacts locally here, because then you can look like a bully.